Arianna Huffington is taking time out from her very popular website, the Huffington Post, to update us on her big bestseller. It's called Pigs at the Trough, How Corporate Greed and Political Corruption Are Undermining America. And she joins us this morning. How many years ago was this?
2003.
All right, so that's Enron.
Enron, WorldCom, Global Crossing, Tyco. You know, we put a few people in jail. We passed a few little reforms,
right.
But we left the system unchanged.
It seems like a million years ago.
It seems like a million years ago.
Are there similarities to this current financial crisis that may have had seeds in that crisis from 5 or 6 years ago?
There's a direct line. Because the system was left unchanged, basically unregulated, basically trusting that the free market would make it all work out fine, that Wall Street would do the right thing. And what happened 6 years later is that the scale is so much more enormous. You know, in 2003, they were playing with billions of shareholder wealth. Mm-hmm. Now they are playing with trillions of taxpayer money. And my concern, Harry, and the reason why I updated and brought the book out again, is that we are ready to do the same thing again. We are ready to move on. Newsweek has a cover story saying the recession is over.
Is over, right.
Goldman and Citi are announcing multi-billion-dollar profits.
Right.
The stock market is over 9,000. And what I'm saying is that this victory dance is premature.
Right.
It's happening on top of a very shaky financial system, and next time it collapses, and
right.
It will collapse again.
The thing is, though, that's interesting about this, because every time it happens, everybody says, well, there's got to be more regulation, there's got to be more regulation, and there is always phenomenal pushback on that, and then things tend not to happen.
Exactly, but
how can business succeed if we're so regulated?
Well, it's not about being so regulated. It's about the fact that we cannot allow businesses to be too big to fail. If they are too big to fail, they are too big to exist. Right. You know, capitalism has to allow failure.
All right, let me ask you on a completely different subject.
Yes.
Healthcare, the president wanted to get at least some documents on his desk by the end of the summer. Does it seem any way that's going to happen?
It's not going to happen. My concern...
Is it going to happen, period?
I think some form of healthcare is going to pass, but I'm afraid it's going to be very watered down. The president appears ready to surrender on the public option.
Right.
And if he surrenders on the public option, there will not be enough competition for the private insurance companies that are causing so much...
Well, except the private insurance companies are certain that's going to drive them out of business if there's a public option.
No, because you see, right now we need to contain costs.
Right.
We're never going to be able to contain costs without some real public competition and without some real emphasis on prevention.
Has he reached far enough across the aisle to get consensus so this really could have moved forward?
I don't think that's the problem. The problem is he needs to draw a line in the sand that says healthcare reform without a public option, without real prevention in the system, without containing the drug industry costs, is not meaningful.
How about tort reform, though, and other things like that? They say they could save $100 billion a year if they would get people to prescribe less procedures, fewer procedures.
Prescribe fewer procedures is good, and also prescribing fewer drugs. You know, advertising, I'm sure you love it, on television, that is tax deductible, is not exactly containing costs.
There you go. Arianna Huffington, as always, a pleasure to see you. Pigs at the Trough, re-released just in time for your beach read. Right? There you go.